Welcome on board to the Alien Spaceship talk show with Emmy, Hikins and Trevor, a podcast where no topic is off limits. Fasten your seatbelt, stick the kettle on, you're in for a bumpy ride. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Tell you, she's that strong, she beats men. So some people are like that. They've got that strength.
Yeah.
And I think it's a genetical thing. Maybe they took most of the gene from their dad or the strength and everything from their dad. So it does happen. It does happen.
Yeah.
So what happened, Femi? Did you hightail it out of there with that girlfriend?
Do you know what? We usually, anytime she comes over, we usually have like a wrestling match. We put this mattress on the ground and we start fighting. And sometimes I used to give her like a headlock and she said, oh, no, stop now. But she is strong, very strong.
Right. Well, Trevor.
Well, okay. I mean, initially, this story at the Olympics sort of came out a bit. I think everybody thought it was a transgender situation, didn't they?
Yeah.
In other words, it was a person born a man, because, as you say, there was a certain maleness about the person, but had gone across to become a woman. And manifestly, that would be very unfair. And of course, we're touching on a subject which has been very much in the political news for quite a long time. People like J.K. Rowling, complaining that lots of women's sports, for example, all their world records are being smashed by people who are allowed to compete in women's sports. And I would have thought most reasonable thinking people would say, yeah, that cannot be right. If necessary, do a separate section for transgender people, because clearly they also need to be catered for. But anyway, with the Olympics, the Olympic Committee then said, no, this person, they initially said it was a person who had a very rare genetic disorder where they actually are born with both male and female genitalia.
Yeah.
In other words, they had an XY chromosome and XX chromosome. But then that also turned out to be not the case. Yeah. They simply eventually said, no, this person, as Femi said, and as you said, Emmy, this person was born a female. And I think what confused everybody was a few months ago, we'll say she was disqualified from at least 2 boxing tournaments, because of her testosterone levels. They were too high. So rather than being banned or thrown out because of the XY chromosome, which it wasn't, she was thrown out for having too much testosterone. Now, as we all probably know, women have testosterone as well as men, in the same way that men have estrogen as well as women. But obviously, it's a very different quantity. So it seems to me that this boxer, she probably has an above average level of testosterone, which gives her a much stronger punch. And indeed, the Italian boxer, a policewoman, I think she is, she gave up after 46 seconds of the first round, and she was crying on her knees, saying, I've never been hit as hard as this. This is not fair. And that was the end of that. But it's a very difficult one, because if this person was born a female, then you could say the Olympic Committee were right to admit her into.
We're going to take a short break now. We're back shortly. You've been listening to the Alien Spaceship talk show with Trevor and Emmy Hikins. The Alien Spaceship talk show podcast is looking for sponsors. If you're a company out there looking to spread the word about the products and services you provide, please get in touch with Deep Stuff Radio Podcast on info@deepstuffrecords.com, or to use the contact form on our website to contact us, please visit radio.deepstuffrecords.com. Also, if you're looking to get involved on the Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast, reach out via our Deep Stuff Radio Facebook page.